Okay, so um I watched this on a Thursday. First of all, before I watched a Raw last week, I saw the Bloodline and Charlotte Stephanie places. Charlotte's one was interesting because I didn't know that her trying out was her brother's dream. You know what I'm saying? Like she said, one of the producers was like, "And why aren't you doing this?" And she said she didn't want to do it at the time because the women, she was like, no shade to them. It was very different. You know what I'm saying? Like all the women were doing, they were showing, there was more accounting for their looks than their physicality. You know what I'm saying? And that's why me growing up, I love the strong girls or the girls that were different. Like Trish is, Hall of Famer and cute, but like for me, outside of Sable, it was like China, Ivory, Jacqueline, um, China, Ivory, Jacqueline, Jazz were it for me. And then Lita came and I was like, oh, okay. And then the time that Awesome Kong was on there as Karma, I remember that because that was around 2011 when I was watching Real Heavy when Edge was solo before he had to retire, before she went to TNA. But like, I was here for the girls that could do so I understand it because all the other girls, no shade, either was looked at as sex symbols or they had like weird, what people would think would be weird gimmicks. Like they had the Kelly Kellys, they had the Trish Stratuses, they had like pudding matches and pool matches and stuff like that. And then they had fun gimmicks like Molly Holly and uh what's the girl that just got Lay Cool? Sorry. I don't think I was watching when she was on there. Like I remember the name, but I don't think I was watching. I'm gonna keep it a buck. So, like, I remember Victoria's name and all the things, but I don't remember. I don't remember. So, yeah. So she was like, it became her dream after a while, and then, because Stephanie was trying to say like, her and the four horsewomen had changed the game completely because they were putting on matches at NXT when the girls on Raw and SmackDown were only getting 2 to 4 minute matches. But I would like to differ with that because I feel like a lot of people are saying in IWC that um the Bellas and Naomi and Natalia and stuff has started the wave, even though they were still getting 2 to 4 minute matches. But it wasn't really the four horsewomen then. It was they cracked the door open. Like of course the women from the 40s all the way up to the 2000s had cracked like keep opening the door. Like Trish was the first woman to main event Raw. You know what I'm saying? Jacqueline was the first black woman um champion, and I think she was the first women's IC champion when they for the men's title, if I'm not mistaken. She's one of 4 women they said that had the men's IC champion, which I didn't. I thought it was only China because I remember watching her Cribs and she had it Cribs episode. But my hair itches. And she was like, she broke the door down. I was like, from the clips and stuff I saw, the Bellas and them had started it, but I was like, Paige and AJ Lee and like Charlotte had mentioned, like Paige, AJ Lee, Summer Rae, all them like cat knocked it down, helped knock it down with the women before them. And then the four horsewomen blew it open. And then after that, the class after them, which is the class now, with Io, Rhea, Zelina, um, Michin, Bianca, blew the doorway. It ain't no more door. Okay. So like, yeah, that was just interesting. It was interesting because I thought she was like because she always was athletic, but she didn't want to be held to that standard. And I was like, I just thought that she was just eventually going to follow in her dad's footsteps because of who she was. But everybody don't plan on doing that, which is what I learned in the bloodline thing. So the bloodline one was cute. It had the new and the old bloodline. It had all of them. The Usos talking about their dad wanted to name them Alpha and Seeker was funny and cute. I love Jacob, y'all. But the fact that he could pray down, okay, I love that. Like, I love a praying man, okay. And I ain't saying him because I know he married. Like, I ain't no homewrecker. I'm just saying I love a man that can pray, okay. I love the fact that Sami, even though he's not a part of that, he bowed his head down as a sign of respect. Even say that in the Bible, like if you go to someone else's house, like they invite you over to eat, you're supposed to like follow the customs that they do, whatever. And I'm paraphrasing. So like if you only eat meat but they're vegetarian, like you have to eat the vegetarian. You can't be having an attitude talking about some, oh, I want this, that, and third. If they bow their heads down to pray, you bow your head down to pray too. Like now in your brain, you might be praying to Jesus, they might be praying to someone else, but you still, like stuff like that. I love that. Okay. Because people try to force stuff down your throat. How you should live, what you should believe in, what politics you should have. You should do this, that, and the third. And that is not, especially if you are a Christian, that is not the way that Jesus lived or wanted us to live. We're not supposed to be shoving stuff down people's throat like that. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be like advocates and living with love and praying for people and, help changing, like showing our life of how much we've changed from what we used to be to what we are now. Most people, like they said, don't read Bibles or read whatever, but they look at your life. You know what I'm saying? So them was the two main things. I didn't know. Okay, I did. Because I remember an interview with the Fatus, Trinity and John. And she was talking about how he likes mayonnaise. She was like, why you act like Samoans don't like mayonnaise? So then I was watching somebody else's podcast that I know of, and she used to date a Samoan. And she was like, he loves mayonnaise. And I was like, what is it with the mayo? Okay? I don't get it. So then when they did turkey tails, was it turkey tails? Because black people, we do turkey necks. I think it's turkey tails. And they showed a picture of Yoko, and he was like, he used to have long turkey tails. And I'm like, how long is a turkey tail? And dip it in mayonnaise. And I said, ooh, all that mayo gotta be bad for your heart and your cholesterol. And I was like, what is it with mayonnaise? Like, did like some of the ancestors discover it and just decide to put it and eat it with everything? Because when Jimmy had said on that podcast, and then she was like, you act like Samoans don't like mayonnaise. And he's like, I dip my fries in ketchup and mayonnaise. And he was like, y'all ain't did that before? And I thought that was a North Carolina thing. Like, I didn't know. I don't know if that's a Samoan thing or a Florida thing or a Southern thing. But I was like, I didn't know other places did that. Because when I came here and I saw some girls doing that, and I was like, and he was like, it's good. And I tried, I was like, it's not for me. Y'all, you can have that. But I was able to try it, so. Yeah, I love that. I love how they joke with Solo. And Sam was like, you need to let that go. Because he asked her, he was like, they used to pick on me. He was like, you need to let that go. That was when y'all was little. The fact that Steph ain't know his middle name was Yoko till then. It's crazy how that barbecue, he said their cookouts ended with wrestling. And even like Tama and Tonga was like, that's crazy. So I was like, so how did y'all grow up? And I didn't even realize when he said my dad and their dad used to tag in the 80s. And he said, and it feels like history's repeating itself because we're tagging together. And I said, you know what? I said, I didn't even put two and two. I'm slow. First of all, I didn't even put that together. Okay? And you know how they asked whose kids want to wrestle. Jay's son, his baby wants to wrestle. And then Jacob was like, his daughters. And I know he always mentioning like he got 7 kids. And I was like, I wonder how many daughters she got. And then he said they like Tiffany, they like Rhea. He's like, they like Sistren. And he's like, and they like Nile. And I was like, family. And then, So I was like, that's cool. But like the story for Paul, I gotta watch that. I gotta finish watching this documentary on YouTube. The story for Paul, when he said he couldn't leave New York because he was underage. So I said, this is how you know this was the 80s, because, or the late 70s, because your parents just said okay when you was like, okay, I'm going to Pennsylvania with Alpha and Sika to like to photograph the wrestling. They just said okay. They don't know them from Adam. First of all, second of all, they're huge, and it's not even a race thing. It's just a general thing. If my son told me that he was going to go film a wrestling show another state away, and these 2 men were going to take them, and they had to be like in their 30s, and my son got to be like 16, okay, and they is huge as hell, black, white, blue, purple, green, yellow, I don't care what color they are, my first instinct gonna be hell to the no, okay. That's why I was like, that's the first thing I thought as a mom. I was like, they trusted you for, like, that's crazy. And then they could whoop your dad ass. So like on top of that, if they were them type of people, thank God they not. They could come back and whoop your father behind for trying to check them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was a worst case scenario, that's how my mom be thinking as a mom. Like, my son would have told me, I'd be like, you better sit right on over here, or no. I don't care if I got $5 worth of gas in this car. We going together. Like, no, sir. I'm not doing that. Okay. But I was like, that's very trusting. But that was like, the time was different then. So he was like, he had learned from them. Then he went to be in a car with, what he say, Rikishi and Samu? Or was it, what did he say, Alpha Jr.? I don't know. Is that the same? I don't know. He said he ended up being with the next generation and learned even more, which that means at this point in time, Paul was older by a little bit. Because him and Rikishi about to snow. Paul's 60. Rikishi got to be 58, right? 59, or about to be. He got to be one of them two, I'm assuming. So y'all about the same age, or Paul a little bit older. Then he said, so you basically knew all of them their whole lives, Roman and twins on them. He said, then I went to do Roman. He said, now I'm the old guy in the room. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, based on the stories and stuff that he's helped cultivate and the people that he's managed, Paul could easily probably write 5 books. Especially if he's one of those people that journal every night. You gotta listen to story for years. Even if you journal for like 10 minutes a night. Just the most exciting thing, or something that got on your nerves, or something that, even based off of that. Like, you know how many books this man can write? And they'll all be bestsellers. All be bestsellers. Okay? Yeah. I was like, that's crazy. But I was like kind of upset about the releases, more so for a lot of them I understood. Okay. The only one I didn't understand, a lot of people was upset about, was Nikita Lyons. Because they was like, why y'all keep some of these people and fire some of these people and keep her? And then somebody was like, you know how embarrassing it got to be to go from the developmental stage of WWE, which is, NXT, to another developmental stage of WWE, which is Evolve, which is a lower tier. And I was like, well, baseball and hockey got 4 tiers, 3 or 4 tiers. Because here in North Carolina, you got the Mudcats in Raleigh, and then you have the Durham Bulls and the Greensboro Grasshoppers, and then I think they're all. I think if you go to the majors from here, I think you go to Tampa, which is weird because that's 3 states away. But then the minor leagues for the Yankees is in like Richmond, so it's weird. I don't know. The only place that's on the East Coast that I know that has like baseball and stuff in the same area is the Nationals. Like they have their minor leagues is like in Virginia, which is 40 minutes away, but it's not 3 states away. So people are upset about that, but I'm most upset about because I said for the women's inaugural IC championship, it should have been Shayna, Zelina, or Dakota. Okay. And then I'm upset about, of course, my girls, the party girls, because I'm like, they move in sync. And this is what I said about Dijak, and I'm like, why would you bring them up or move them if you're not going to use them? Like, and now I know this is a trade-off because they just hired like 7-8 people, so they had to get rid of 7-8 people because then it was rumored that it was because of their age, which is BS because people on the main roster are in their late 30s and 40s. It's very few that's in their 20s. And then it was like all the things. So I'm like, the party girls are the best tag team to me, period. I've never seen nobody move like them. Not in sync like that. Like to me that was. And then Dakota, I realized is such a she's such a disruptor. Like you'll think she on your side and stuff like that. She'll turn heel and flip on you real quick. I learned that from watching her when it was like the history of damage control. I think with the Bailey versus EO situation, but even like her in War Games, the past ones in like NXT, and then Shayna and Shayna, like she's the only person, no female. I don't know if it's female or male or female, that's eliminated everybody in Elimination Chamber. Like, them were the only ones I was like real upset about. Like Shotzi, I like her, but I understood it. Cora, I understood it. Jakara, I understood it. To be honest, because I thought about that last year. Like I like they were cute as a tag team, but to me, I was like, Lash should be solo. Like I legit thought that. Like Lash has evolved so much that she's leaving her tag partner in the dust that she needs to be solo. But like I think all the metaphor is gone but her. So now she got to come up with a new theme because she's the only one, I think. Yeah, I think they just brought Gigi back, or Gigi just came back from injury just for her to get cut, which is crazy. I wonder if Karrion's going to resign, especially after everything that happened. But his documentary was real good. But anyways, April 28th. Okay. So the show started with Paul, Seth, and Bron. Seth looked great in his white silk pants with his sunglasses that had the eyes and the long jacket. Bron looks great in an all black suit. I was like, okay. Excuse me. Sami comes out. This is the first time Sammy's came out, and they did not sing. The crowd did not sing his song. I don't know what the hell was going on in Kansas City. If they would sleep, or if they sing on purpose. Like the producers and them was like, when we get to Sami, don't sing like before the show started. Cause I was like, ain't nobody singing his song. Like, what is happening? Okay, and he told Sami, he was like, he told Seth, like, we known each other for 20 years. He was like, but you full of sugar honey iced tea. And Seth was like, listen, I'm giving you an out. You can go to SmackDown. I can give you a chance at the title. The one thing that saluted you against John. Okay. And or you can, what if you stay here and you're not with me, you in a way. You gotta get destroyed. So he was like, think about it. He was like, I'm giving you an option as a friend. I told him, I said, Sami, don't do it. I said, first of all, it's no point in running from your problems. Okay? Second of all, you going to SmackDown is not going to help. You got the old bloodline which Solo's mad at you about. Drew don't even like the bloodline that you was a part of. And because you were part of the bloodline back then, nobody on that roster over there is going to really rock with you over there. Okay? Third off, Jay need a friend on SmackDown, on Raw. Okay? Cody gone. Daggone, Seth turned, because Seth was cool with him. And it's just you and him. Like, you got this, you gotta stay. I gotta have each other's backs. Cause if that man gonna be by himself or not. If not, he gonna be by himself. Okay? At least with Jimmy being by himself over there, Roman show up every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, he basically on SmackDown by himself. Jimmy basically on SmackDown by himself, low key. Outside, maybe him like forming short alliances with LA Knight, but other than that, he be low key by himself. I was like, don't do it. So then it ended up being Rhea versus Roxanne. Roxanne's my girl from NXT. It's only certain people that's my girl, okay? So for NXT, I don't know if she's called up to the roster. I'm pretty sure she is. But for NXT, it's her, Jordan, and Soul. And then for the main roster is Liv, Bianca. They just Liv and Bianca. Because it was the party girls too, but they gone. So, that chicken smells so good. I made chicken tonight because I didn't feel like cooking. I knew I wasn't going to cook nothing tomorrow because I got to like clean and all that. And I fried some chicken and I baked some chicken. And I could smell the baked chicken. Sorry. I fried the chicken for my son because he doesn't like the residue of the baked chicken on his hands. It's good, but he don't like it. He's very much. I have to keep wipes in the house. But if I tear it apart, he'll eat it. Sorry. Yeah, so Roxanne kept attacking Rhea's leg. Rhea still came out with the victory. After she got the riptide, Juliana came back out, and both of them started attacking Rhea. Then so Io came out, my song. Y'all know. Came back out, got it tag, helped her with the favor, and then they walked off. So I think it was, I didn't watch NXT this week. So I think it was Jordan and Io versus Julia and Roxanne. So I'm pretty sure we soon gonna get Julia versus Io soon. I'm just waiting for when. So for me, it will probably be Jordan is gonna win that qualification match, and then Julia's gonna end up trying to fight Io for her championship. I don't know if she called up. I don't know if she doing both, like how they had Dragon Lee doing for a little bit before the draft. I don't even know if they still doing the draft, okay? Because normally they do the draft, like last year they did the draft, I think around this time. And then they was like, everything's going to take effect after Backlash. But I don't even think they doing it this year. Or if they doing it real late. Okay? I think because they were hiring for writers and producers. And they got so many moving parts now that they just going to be like, whoever is called up is called up. And then what was so funny is I was like, I don't even think they had a draft when I was little. But then I had Google. And they had a draft back then. But I was like, I wasn't paying attention like that. And I was like, because some people were still going to both brands. You remember how like they put Rock on SmackDown because they said that's his word, and they kept Stone Cold on Raw. But I was like, ever so often they would still collide, so it didn't even matter. I wonder if they doing that like Attitude Era, like old school like that. Yeah, so then Logan Paul had came out. Logan Paul came out in all black, was talking trash, and then Jey came out. Jey came out and did the tongue thing. I said, first of all, Jey, you got a whole wife at home. You can't be doing that on the screen, on the TV, okay? Because there are women who are willing to risk it all for you, okay? And they do not care if you marry, okay? They be like, I won't tell your wife if you won't tell your wife. Then you'll have to have like some kind of NDA if you was that kind of guy that she won't tell nothing. And then if y'all do something, to take her phone and your phone and put it up somewhere. Like, let her know where her phone is. So don't be creepy like you trying to escape. But on some stuff like that, if you was on that type of time, which I hope you not, because that'd be crazy. But like, I was like, sorry, you supposed to keep that in the bedroom. Okay. So, he gave his glasses to a boy that survived cancer. I think he said he heated on cancer, which was cute. And I was like, he looked good in that white beater. I was like, and you can tell he's been in the gym with Bron because he's getting more bulk. Because him and Logan standing across from each other, and Logan's pretty fit and a big dude. I was like, Jake getting kind of big. And he was like, oh, he had said something like, if Logan Paul thinks I'm a hand over, after 15 years, hand over my titles as a podcast and YouTuber, he's sadly mistaken. And Logan was laughing. He had to hold in his laugh. That's why I was like, that's the goofy side of him. That wasn't even the heel side. He was like had to hold it in. And then he went heel. And then he was like, I've done more in 4 years and then you done. I've done more in 4 years than you done in 15. I was like, depending on your perspective, that's true. Because I was like, if you think about all the ventures that he's done with like Prime and what's that lunchable thing he got and WWE and all the things. But I'm like, that's because you're an internet, sensation, or what is it? A personality, a media personality in a sense. I'm like, Jay focuses solely on wrestling. Now, if Jay was to get a part and it was like they filming in Atlanta or something like that, and it's a drama or action or a dramedy, he need to take the part. And then as much as an influence as they are, like him and his brother, because they're Samoan, they should have like their own, since they like mayonnaise, their own like mayonnaise. They should have like socks selling in Foot Locker or Champs, since that's where they got their gear from. They should have a shoe. He should have like glasses from like Ray-Bans. He should have, what else he wears? Some earrings, like a jewelry line, even if it's something like you buy clear. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what he always got in his ears. Earrings, glasses. He wears, then the gear, the shoestrings, or if it's something like, restaurants are hard. I was going to say clothing, apparel, skin routine, something. Like if you want to be an entrepreneur, something, okay? Like, he probably been just as successful. Because I'm like, especially when he started becoming the right-hand man in 2021? And then he's been on the up and up ever since. Yeah, he could have did a whole bunch of stuff for 4 years. So I was like, And then it ended up being the War Raiders versus Judgment Day, which is Finn and JD. So they ran it back. Was it last time? Was it Finn and JD, or was it Dom and JD? When I was like, that match was awesome, but I was like, JD was MVP and then he was out. I was like, I know he got a concussion the last time they fought. I can't remember if it was Finn or if it was Dom, but I know it was JD with the War Raiders. So it ended up having that match. And War Raiders ended up winning. And then it ended up being Otis and Sami. Oh, my bad. I need to drink some more water. Sami was talking to Otis about how he was confused, and then Paul ended up talking to him, and then like Sami didn't want to talk to Paul, and Paul was like, I didn't say anything when you left the bloodline. You know what I'm saying? I ain't asked you why, none of this other stuff. He was like, give me the same courtesy, whatever. And he was like, but if you don't take the deal, that's what he sat there and told him. He was like, I got a dog that's on a leash, like a short leash, that wants to have a match with you tonight. And he was like, just think about it, or something like that. And then they show Bron and Bron breaking the door. And I'm like, Lord Jesus, it's going to be a match with him and Bron Breaker. So then it ends up being Rusev does his little segment thing. And then Nick was talking to, I think, Penta. And then Chad started making fun of him and stuff like that. And then Penta, he was like, he wouldn't find him, but next time he can't do whatever he did again. So Chad started talking trash because he was like, he was about to walk Ivy out to her match. And he had said something about laughing. He was like, the funniest thing was watching your brother lose to El Grande Americano. Then he got smacked in his face. And I was like, that's what you get. And I was like, and then the fact you got an El Grande Americano shirt on, but try to explain that that's not you. So, I think Cole had mentioned something like that. And Pat always be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then it ended up being, I think it ended up being Ivy versus Stephanie Valkeria, and Stephanie won. And then AJ was talking to Nick. Judgment Day had interrupted because it was like she's gone to Hollywood, so she's gonna be gone for a while. And then Dom talking about he need time off too because he the champion, and Nick was like, no, you the champion. He was like, that means you got more work. So AJ was like, I think I know what I want to do. And I said, he about to try to fight Dom. I already know he is. This week. But I was wrong. Okay. So then it ended up being Sami and Karrion. And Karrion was like, you need to do the right thing. Basically, like whatever you choose. Jay was talking to him. And Sami was like, thank you, I need to hear that. And as soon as Sami walked away, Logan had pop like Jay. And I said the fact that they learned how to fall is crazy. But I'm like, you falling backstage on a ground. Like Jay, and I think his face was red or something like that. I was like, that's crazy. Okay. And because he was like, something you, and he said, eat Logan. And then Cole had was recalling what happened last week. Pat went and started telling his side of the story, which was funny and like inspirational. Then he said SmackDown's version of Adam Pearce. I was like, that man's name is Nick. And he was like, come out here. He wants Gunther's suspension lifted. And he was like, he was like, so he can talk to him or fight him or whatever. He said, I knew you was gonna say that. I already called Adam. He was like, we're not gonna lift it. We're gonna he was like, well, I want to see Gunther at not WrestleMania, Backlash. I was like, oh Lord. He wanted a match with Gunther. So then Seth started talking to Sami. He came out and asked him. I think the crowd was more hyped when Sami came out. Came out and asked him what was he gonna do. Sami was like, I told you go to hell. And like Seth's face was like, Like, so upset. Like, I wish you wouldn't have said that. As soon as he said that, Bron was coming through the thing in his gear. And I said, God dang. He was on go already. Okay? As soon as we came back from the little break jump, Sami he didn't even put on his regular gear pants. He had the pants that Roman be wrestling in. He just took the shirt off. And I said, what the hell? Man, Sami tried, but Bron beat the brakes off that boy. He had speared him 2, 3 times. The audience trifling because they gonna keep saying one more time. One more time. I said, please not one more time. Please not one more time. And then Paul is holding the medic back, or whoever, security or production or whoever, as Cole asks Paul to call it off and to stop him. And Bron spears Sami a 4th time. And I said, this is crazy. Then Sami goes into the thing in the ring, and Seth stomps him. And I was like, oh, well, that's the end of their friendship. And then the show ends. And I was like, that is crazy. Okay? Like, the way it ended is crazy. Like, I never would. Like, what? That's crazy. Okay? I was like, never in my life that I think that Seth would do that to Sami. And I gotta watch the highlights for SmackDown, because I missed that whole show. And I was like, I can't. Where's my? I can't. What y'all? This I know I'm tired. What time is it? 12:23. It's time for me to go to bed. I can't. What's the name? I can't even think straight. I'm so tired. But I was like, that's crazy. 20 years of friendship for all of that. Oh, during that time also, Becky gonna come out. I forgot that part. Becky gonna come out talking about something. Y'all ain't gotta figure out who attacked Bailey. I attacked Bailey. So he's like, dang, why you do that? And she said, all the time, she been attacking me since 2019. All the times, she was like, so basically she getting her lick back. So I was like, you know what? Okay, that's justifiable. I give her that. Because I was like, we're not gonna act like Damage Control wasn't wreaking havoc on Becky and Bianca for a minute. Okay, so she said all that, and then Lyra comes out. Her and Lyra start having a conversation. Lyra starts talking, and I said, this is the Lyra I've been talking about. Because I was like, y'all gave this girl the title and ain't let her personality show. Like, what the hell? Because I was trying to figure out why the hell they gave her a title if they not going I need a bigger container. If they not gonna let her personality through. Get my baby chicken. So they was talking trash, and when Lyra came out, I was like, I used to have that squirt in the 99 2000. Because I thought it was a dress, and I was like, if they get to fighting, girl, okay, that dress gonna be a little. Everything gonna come up in these shows, okay? But it was a sport, thankfully. And I was like, oh Lord, because I thought something else was going on. But I was like, okay, we getting some personality with Lyra. I like this Lyra. Like, we wasn't getting that at first. So, but today, Bailey had put up something that I think Becky had attacked her at NXT. And some of her fans was like, you need to let that go as a response. And that was her response, or attacking her all the years in damage control. And I was like, if that's the case, then Becky did start it. Low key, they taking it back like this. And I was like, I'm here for it. Shoot, let him fight. Reignite it. Let Bailey let Becky lose a championship or lose the match. Let her fight. Lyra fight Bailey. Bailey get the match championship. And then maybe Lyra get it. Becky get it. But other than that, I was like, nah, dog. Because I was trying to figure out, like, why we... I'm going to just wrap this because I'm too lazy to put them in small containers. And I'm too lazy to clean this out. I'll do it tomorrow. It's 12:27. But, yeah, because I was like, what is happening? Sorry. And when they both mentioned attacking each other, I was just like, just let them go at it at this point. They 2 of the 4 horsewomen that's on the same brand. The other horsewoman is on the other brand. The 4th one is, God knows what she's doing. I got my thoughts, but I'm going to leave that alone. And, yeah, let in due time, Becky and, because Bailey got to get her lick back. So I don't care if it's Backlash or Raw. Let her come back and get her lick back. Be a triple threat or Bailey versus Becky by themselves. Because she ain't got damage control to help her out. So let her do what she do. Okay? And I was like, yeah. Because I'm waiting. I want to see what happens with this. Especially with the promo that Lyra did tonight on Raw. That I have to make a video for after this video. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens on Saturday. Well, y'all will see because I'll be at work. Y'all will see what will happen. I have to watch the playback, which I'm upset about because normally I watch Backlash and then I watch not the before press conferences and all that and the recap, so I could care less about that. The before one. I watch the actual Backlash when it starts. And then I watch the press conference after Backlash. But all that stuff beforehand, I could care less about. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great night and day and all the things. I am tired as hell and I gotta get up in 6 hours and I didn't sleep well at all yesterday. No, I got woken up because my ring was not calibrated right, or it went off calibration and kept ringing my door camera, and 4 times, and nobody was at the door when I checked my phone. So I'm exhausted, but I hope you guys have a great night. Okay, all the things, say your prayers, love you all, bye.